Hey guys, welcome back. Another episode called the Flag Talk Podcast. It's your boy John. And the first weekend is in the books of the 26-27 season. And I must say, when the fixtures initially came out, it did look like it might have been a very straightforward weekend, but it probably was anything but that. We have people who had their hopes crushed. We had people who was on the brink of losing hope. We had people who thought it was going to ghost. And it had to be a bit bumpy in the end. And I have one from each category here to discuss it with you this evening. So, firstly, a man who is hoping that the story of Samson is just a story. It's Virgil. Virgil was a good my guy.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one, for sure. Really hope for that.
Then we also have Brandon. Brandon was good.
I'm good, but the kid said I sort of getting tired. I don't know, but it's really because I'm feeling cool.
Hey! Very nice, very nice. And then lastly, we have making his first appearance for the season is Dekil. Dekil was good, bro.
I don't know. No complaints, but no complaints.
So here how we gonna do it, right, guys? As always, we do a weekend roundup, and we're gonna just do that right here, right now. So we're gonna start with the teams that had the worst experience and build up to the teams that had the best, right? And now, so the question then does be like, who had a worst weekend between Spurs and United? But I would argue is the one that lost to the newly promoted side that was considered one of the worst promoted teams in history. So we're gonna kick us off with Manchester United as they went to newly promoted Hull City, and as the admin says, they were mauled by the Tigers. At the halftime interval, they were down 2 goals to nil. And the kill, it definitely wasn't the start you'd have wanted for. I've heard plenty United content creators say, obviously when you watch the first 3-4 fixtures you all had, you was looking at this and not saying this is probably one of the best starts you could ask for. However, it did not materialize as such. So, it was your feedback on the game and any quick qualms you had over lineup, stuff like that, but yeah, the overall picture.
Yeah. When my first come, that this was before I found out about the injury.
Yeah.
I was very, very concerned that Carrick started a team that was different from what he was running throughout majority of the preseason, especially coming down to the end. So for me to not see Ahmad in the starting lineup, for me to see Mbeumo on the right wing, even though I like Mbeumo on the right wing, my primary thing is you're running a team for all these games. Why switch? And that would lead me to the other part of it. Why you didn't put your right back? I mean, you have two primary right backs. They weren't here for the majority of the preseason. And I watch all of the games, and he was at least functional. I feel like for the first game of the season, you probably don't need to be the best. You just need to get your points on the board. And we failed to do so. Disregarding all of that, though, the team should have been good enough to beat newly promoted Hull City. And it's funny that what the Hull manager said. He said he scouted United for a couple of the preseason games, and he saw all our weaknesses. And he was absolutely right because, for example, we've struggled to play against a back three, even with Amorim.
Yeah.
And Hull don't play a back three. They played a back three just to play us and exploited us in every at every opportunity that they could. Again, failing at set pieces. We lost 2 set pieces because 2 of our defenders were sleeping. So it was a very, 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 very long day.
Yeah. I just think it was probably more that the defenders was in a loving mood because Maguire just didn't want to let Mazraoui go. He just really wanted to give him a warm embrace versus his former side, mind you, which feels like eons ago that Maguire was playing for Hull City. Brandon, I'm gonna just throw it to you. Before we go 2-footed into Manchester United, which is top 3 things I love to do. Any credit you want to give towards Hull City? Because they were fantastic, and we literally all had them. But they were really good at it.
But I'm sure you'll remember that in the preview, I mentioned that having somebody like McBurney would be very good for them going throughout the season because he has so much Premier League experience and he really showed a lot of that Premier League experience. I thought I don't think it's an exaggeration to say like he looked like prime Drogba against a Man United side, and he really handled the ball well. He was able to move through the midfield and the defense really well. He gave Aidan Heaven a hell of a time.
Yeah,
No
boy.
pun intended. But I think they did really well. And as Dikil mentioned, they played a specific system for United, and I was taken aback at some of the things I was seeing. Like there was one particular moment in the game I remember where the two fullbacks literally went in front of the centre backs, and as soon as they cleared the ball, they literally went straight back into like a back four, and then it turned back into a back five. It was quite impressive to see how tactically good they were. Um, and I just thought that there were a lot of really good performances from a lot of players. Like Egon was very good. Like I said about McBurney, he was also very good. That Mendy guy, unfortunately, came off, but he was also very good. So there are lots of positives that for Hull, and I think that starting the season like that is very good for them.
Yeah, Virgil just, I don't want to say last on Hull because we don't want to close the door on a side that did win, right? But it did feel like they were very much willing to embrace their role in this game now. Like they didn't try to overcomplicate anything. They were very route one, but not only were they route one in the sense of going to McBurney very straightforward, but like it did feel like a very, very well worked plan in terms of how they supported it, how they got the wing backs involved. And they constantly, every counter attack, it felt like they were really, really threatening United's back line. So anything else you want to say to give them any credit there, Butch?
No, yeah, to give credit to what Nikhil mentioned, how he said that how they studied United throughout the entire preseason, and they went into this game, basically playing the opposition. So you had to give them credit. So they saw the weaknesses, they exploited it, they line up exactly like how they would want it, and well, the game plan worked. So that's one thing that I do. One thing they will be doing week in, week out. If they could maintain that, with the personnel they have to kind of switch around, and tailor make the tactics to the opposition. But they tried game week one, and they got that 3 points on the board.
I mean, like one of the real fightings watching this whole side all there. It really has some prem throwback when I see all over the place, Like was one of the goal scorers was Semi Aye, who was one of our academy products. Then it had Egan, who was at Sheffield. Then it had this fellow who came. No, sorry, wrong team. Well,
Sorry,
obviously
Target
Ollie
came on.
McBurney,
it had
Matt,
Paddy,
and then
Paddy
Paddy
McNair.
McNair, dog. I was
Yeah.
like, no way, these even played for them, right? But I'm gonna just open the floor to this question. I think we started, I just kind of go over there, right? Obviously, the one area, in fact, the only area that you all addressed this summer so far has been midfield, right? And we saw
Mhm.
two new signings started there, right? Obviously, you lost what has become a cult hero amongst United with Casimir leaving, and then Minu was on the bench, with Anderson and Tillemans preferred to him, right? What was your thoughts about that configuration and what you thought did not work? Because I have my own thoughts as well, but I know like there is that general consensus that it was not the ideal setup for them to thrive on it.
I think there's a multitude of things actually. So for the selections, not that I would be mad at it. I didn't expect mine to start because of how late he came back. I didn't expect Rashford to start because of how late he came back. Regardless of if they played or not, that's normally not how managers see things. Just to throw players like that straight into the team. And like I say, he's been running Santos and Tillemans since Tillemans came. So I didn't expect anything really different. But what I would say is that both of them are so stiff, and it was very, very, very hard for them to. It was very, very hard for them to advance the ball, especially how they were defending Bruno, because to Brandon's point, when the fullbacks were coming in between, Bruno was in the middle of them, and it's like they had him in this wall, and he couldn't get the ball at all.
Yeah.
And no, regardless of what Tielemans was trying to do, regardless of Santos was trying to do, they couldn't advance the ball properly. And on the counter attack, which Hull had to perfection, I would say, um, they're just so slow. They can't get back. They couldn't track runners the way they could have. I see Tielemans get turned in midfield probably like 3, 4 different times. Santos is, even though he's a great ball winner, he'd prefer the balls to come to him. He's not one of those midfielders that probably go out wide to try
Go
to
get it.
win back the
Yeah.
ball. So it left a lot wanting, especially we all know the problems we have in defense. Especially I thoroughly dislike that show and Mazraoui, decent player but not the best. Um as well as a very young Heaven, who even though he could defend wide areas, he tends to lapse sometimes. And you could see that with
Yeah.
one of the goals. It just left a lot wanting. I put a lot of it on Carrick's shoulder because, I mean, he's the manager. I didn't think it was a personal thing. I don't think just purely putting in a better player yesterday would have helped us in any way. I think that he got it tactically wrong and he was outplayed by simple as that.
I mean, you mentioned Heaven there. I mean, he didn't have a good game this weekend, but I do think this was probably, if not the worst, one of those worst shows. Remember, like this has not been his average
No,
performance for
definitely,
United.
definitely. I
You know,
really like Evan actually. I just think
that's
and
good.
I've heard
That
Man
should help you in
United.
the afterlife.
I actually I've heard a lot of Manchester United fans wanting to throw Euro and Heaven in together. Just let them shoot them straight into the
Yeah.
fire and just let them figure it out. I don't really think that's the best thing to do. Especially because both of them have the exact same problem. They could recover very well, they could read the game well, they just have lapses in judgment that cost us goals at times. So it needs
Yeah.
to find a balance needs to be found. But I'm not mad at him. These are the growing pains that you're gonna have, especially when you buy a young player and you want to bet him in. So it's going to happen. So I have no problem with it, but yeah, Manchester United. If you was to,
I
I
wanted
ain't gonna lie, if you was to ask me, I'd probably put money on us. I would have probably put money on us doing something bad yes this weekend. I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten accustomed.
I want to just throw that idea there and you'll let me know what you think, right? And I saw this thread on Twitter, credit at Silva will be his guy name, and he spoke about like temperaments of players, and I think like this really put well into one of the things I was seeing on the day with United now, and it was talking about how between Andre Santos, Tillemans, and Bruno, even though they were midfield three, and on paper we are looking at profiles that should be complementing one another. We're seeing different temperaments in terms of how each player wants to approach using the ball, and I think this is one of the important things that even considering bringing in Baleba, bringing Manu back in, is that while we are giving Carrick all the profiles that should be working well together, we need to ensure that the temperaments are all aligned and working cohesively for the team, right? And this person went and highlight the first pass by Tillemans, the first pass by Andre Santos, and even some of the actions within the games, and even the actions when it is they went down. And you saw that Tillemans was somebody who's trying a lot to reset the game, to bring the game calm, to bring it under control. Whereas Andrew Santos was somebody that as soon as he got the ball, and probably some of this is naivety because he's young, was trying to punch it through that. Every time he see one lane open, was trying to punch it through. He was not talking about how they crowded Bruno out. It was like as he saw the smallest opening to Bruno, he's trying to force it through. They close it down. And then even when we saw Bruno late in the game, right, where he felt he needed to take responsibility, tried some things, it didn't work out. And I think this is where we do need to see Carrick step in terms of figure out what it is the idea you want to paint, curve the temperament of these players so all work cohesively because you can't have three players that while they should be complementary, all trying to execute a different thought process in you going forward. Because it's one thing Hall get problems, you will get problems against bigger sides. Brandon, anything you want to jump in there, correct, say, add?
No, I just think I think there's a even though I think your assessment is right there about the profiles, I still feel like the energy level is not right in the midfield,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
is what that kind of offsetting the balance. It's kind of what
yeah,
the Keel was talking about earlier, how you find the two of them real stiff, and I think
yeah.
that's just I assume that's why they bought Believer because I feel like he's going to be the difference there, where he's more mobile than the others. Because
A
Bruno is
lot is
very
being put on
mobile.
his shoulder, though. I can't lie. Like a
Oh
lot
no,
is being
yeah,
put on, but it was
100%.
sugar coming in, bro.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I guess I kind of agree with your assessment. It's just that I feel like there's really a lack of balance there, and um,
Yeah,
it works in a. I guess it on paper it works because it makes
yeah. That's what I
sense.
was saying now. Like on paper,
And
it
yeah,
looks like it should be cohesive, but on the pitch, they aren't playing on the same tune. I something that you mentioned it to lean on to what the kid was saying too. I thought some of the players, funny, not even just with them, but in general, were just so sloppy, boy. Like I know there's some like small details there, but things like not watching the weight of pass you're putting on a pass, not watching which foot you're passing to, not watching where you're angling your passes at. And you see players had to scramble back to get, to move here to get it, had to stop this try to get. And that sounds like nothing. And the thing is, like, on the stat sheet, that doesn't get recorded because it's still a completed pass, it's still this, it's still whatever. But it felt so sloppy, and I didn't even think necessarily that it was like they took Hull for granted per se. I just don't think they were at the races. They just weren't now. And I mean, one other thing, and we could probably sort of pivot off of this, is that, like, are you okay, Nikhil, with how the attack is looking going into the season? Because, like, I mean, I watched Culture Cam's reaction, and the first one was more of a rant, right? And he was like, he don't think he's seen Mbemo dribble that player since he reached here, right? And I do think that you have a lot of forwards who do more want to be not necessarily striker, but closely striker, play or striker. And is it probably a case where there's too much similar players who want to do those things? If it is like you're playing Saka, Cunha, Rashford, and Mbemo together, and even Dogu, well, whatever he's out of there.
I will never say that name again. I will never say that name again. I promise you that. But going on further, yes, to an extent though, because I believe these are the players that you do have. Carrick needs to find a way to put them in a position to win, put them in a position to be successful. So, for example, all of us watch football. We've been watching Mbeumo for a very long time. Mbeumo is not a touchline winger. Mbeumo is not a player that you want to mash choke and just dribble. That was never his game. You want Mbeumo as close as to the penalty box as possible, let him collect and drive, or pin balls in behind that he could run onto. That has always been Mbeumo's game. So I think it's about Kai trying to find a way to maximize the players that he has. Now, granted, again, I'll come back to the issue with Ahmad not being there. For the majority of preseason, he hasn't played Mbeumo on the right wing. He's played him on top. Ahmad on the right wing. So I think that maybe, and there's nothing even an excuse, but that probably threw off what he wanted to do just a little bit. But it doesn't give an excuse for the way they played it
But then,
any
just a
event.
bit that was advocate, right? Like, even if we touch back to last season with Carrick, what was the best game to see with Mbeumo? Him on top. I don't think that we've probably seen the best of it. And I mean, like, even if we go back to his Brentford days, right? What was the best of Mbeumo? Playing in our front two on top there with somebody who we will 1000% get onto later on in the pod, right? But we saw the best of him in those kind of setups, and I'm just wondering if, like, again, we talk about good profiles, but are they complementary profiles to really make that work? Because I think with somebody like Sesko, it should work, right? I do think that he could be that target S profile for those guys to get closer to play off of, that kind of thing. So it could just be a case of just wait for Sesko to come back into the fold. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. You know me, bro. I'm not one to just jump off the ledge just like that. I'm not culture cans who, them men looking for clicks. Them men looking for clicks. But let's see what Carrick does. Yes, he had an off game. I mean, there's probably our third or fourth loss in like 7 months. So I mean, at least in this small period of time, he has the grace from me to say, all right, to make a mistake, all right, figure it out for the next game. Because if Rich could watch, hey, how do that? If you can try the exact same thing, let's see what you do from here.
Yeah, fair. As we come up this game now, anybody have anything else they want to say? If not, we could choose a Hull defender. If no, cool. And I was assuming it was gonna be either one of Sammy AI or the other guy who had scored. What's his name? Mendy. Whichever. Unless all they wanted to go super road. Was I the only one who thought the right winger looked like?
Bro. I really
was the
wanted
only one
to
who thought who thought the right winger really looked like Orlando, bro. Bloom, sorry. I was the only one who thought that. No, okay.
Probably.
I
thought
really?
I thought,
Even mustache? Okay.
I thought Zolakis had a good game, the keeper. I thought he had a pretty good game too.
He did have a good game.
Yeah.
I need a
You can
consensus.
you can probably give it to Ajayi, probably.
The only reason I'm not saying McBurney is that I fairly certain that have some other strikers that might take it.
I hear you, but he was given heaven beams.
It's true. And then there was the dribble in it. The one where they thought the ball went out. And this man dribbled through like 3 men, dog. Alright, cool. I'll go with Sammy and send over. Cool, nice. The next one up is the team that what could get worse than losing 3-0 is losing 2-0 is losing 3-0, right? Now what's even worse than losing 3-0 is doing this after a summer where you spend nearly
$10 billion.
400 at this point.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
With Tottenham, they just took. Before we started the record, we got to hear we go for Marmoush, so he's on his way there on a loan with our option to buy that turns into obligation based on the criteria being met. But yeah, boy, Tottenham had a rough outing, boy, and I really don't know what else to say, guys, other than it was just bad. It at no point looked good. I mean, like, even when it was United, right? Like, United had some chances early on that they didn't make the most of it, right? But, like, there was no point in this game that Spurs looked good. It was terrible. And in fact, if this game was showing at 3 p.m., it would have been 4-0. But we all know why it wasn't, right? Dog, it's so funny the man actually got pen. And he still is good. But yeah, the floor is open. Anybody have anything they want to see on Spurs? I mean, I knew I went to this season pretty high on Brentford, and I was happy with saw, but it's Spurs. No, you know what's actually the real irritating thing? Last year, I think we all had Spurs in that 6 to 8 range last year as well, right? And it was like, okay, we thought they could calm down and thing. This year, we say, okay, surely they can repeat, right? Guys, surely they're not going to run it back again. But the floor is open. Anybody want to say anything on this game?
You mind if I start?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So firstly, I would like a serious answer from any of you to tell me what you think Matthias Tell does well.
Yeah,
You
boy.
tell me.
Yeah, he makes up numbers.
So that's the first thing, right? So I just don't
You know what's so
understand.
funny about that? You asking me that, right? The night before the game, I was in a chat with them and somebody asked, so I was like, they was like, where Marmoush going to play? I said, he's probably going to play left wing. And he was like, you're going to drop Tell for him? And I'm like, did Tell do something? Am I on the way or something?
Did he come Jack?
But yeah,
but that's the first thing, right? Like, I just don't understand his I don't understand what he does well enough
he doesn't either, don't worry.
to be like a starting player for Spurs, given the amount of money that they spent. Like, I can't see him starting when all these fellas come into the team, right? And then secondly, this guy Mikey Moore, like, he actually had 3 very good opportunities that the game could have been very
100%. Oh no, you are right. Yeah,
if he took any of those chances, right? But what I really want to focus on is in midfield, right? Like, the Tottenham midfield was terrible. Like, absolutely terrible. I think there's only one midfield performance. I think that was worse across the weekend than Spurs' own. And I just don't understand how it looks so bad. Like, De Zerbi literally looked like he gave up like half an hour into the game. Like, he literally looked like he stopped trying to do anything. He stopped trying to offer any type of tactical change or anything like that. And I don't know if Van der Ven didn't play, right? I think he's injured.
No, he's injured.
Yeah.
So it was terrible, though.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Where like it was like a horrible. If a first game can go horribly bad, that was as bad as it could get. Like, there was literally nothing good about it. Not one player played well. Kinski wasn't good. Like, literally nobody was good. I don't understand. Like, it is as bad as it could get for any team looking to start the season well. And I just don't know. Right? Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you go ahead. I was.
No, I just saying, like, these new signings can't come quick enough. Like, Fernandez can't start fast enough. I guess they probably should sell Bergvall after that performance. Like, he was supposed to be going, apparently he's staying. I don't know if they regret that after the performance, because my goodness Lord.
And I mean, like, I think, like, what you saw on the day, though, was 2 extremely contrasting sides, right? So a side that's very organized and sure about themselves and what they want to do. How many times did we see Brentford play through a terrible press that Spurs had? how much time did we see them build up regardless of who was standing in front of them? We also saw how well they did to block out De Zerbi. We've been watching De Zerbi since he was at Brighton, right? We all hear that De Zerbi is this great build-up coach and he's so good at tempting the press and whatever. Did you all see any build-up? We saw a set-piece coach, Steve Andrews, who's only 1 year in his senior coaching management. It's completely nullified that. There was no progression through the midfield, through the middle of the pitch at all. And I just think we saw two contracts. And the thing is, Brentford threw away many chances. Kevin Schade, I like this guy, but oh my god, bro, he's so frustrated now because he's getting ball running behind and nothing to score with it, time and time again, bro. But we just see two sides. I see so short. Virgil, anything you want to say on this game? I know two of your fan favorites are now heading across. Marmoush and Savio.
Well, I'm so glad that Marmoush is alone, meaning that he can't play us when we do play them. Because I feel like him in that.
Wow, I didn't think about that. Wow,
like him in that, seeing Marmoush in that Spurs shirt, that would have been a curse. But anyway,
imagine Savio use up his 1 goal a season in the Etihad now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nah, but yeah. One thing about De Zerbi, I feel like from before, when we were giving him praise in his Brighton days, we all said that how he kind of wanted to adopt this basically Pep Guardiola type of influence on his tactics, and how he want to be this attacking player, possession or whatever. But I feel like for tactics like that, we've always been seeing every time he's been tried, and for other managers like that, you need a good midfield. And to have a midfield where 2 of the 3 players consist of Gallagher and Bergvall, you're not going to get nothing out of that midfield. And it was clear. And just for the simple fact, even for Spurs fans, it would just be a lot worse that Bergvall wanted to leave because I think he wanted more game time. They gave him the game time. And what are you doing with this? What is he doing with the opportunity? So I feel like that midfield for Spurs is just going to be their biggest struggle for the entire season. And when you mentioned that they have 2 quality players from Man City, asterisk over Savinho, but that's not going to help the midfield at all. Because if they go up again from without midfield, compared to Brentford had Yanelt and Sangare, 2 men that you may not say of high quality, but look how they boss that midfield. 1 guy a goal, both get returns. 1 guy a goal, 1 guy assist. And you had the like from with Spurs. On the other end, if you expect Tonali to just come in there and Tonali to just become this man to change his midfield completely by himself, I feel like from our reaction or predictions that had Spurs so high up, I feel like it might be a repeater last season for them.
I mean, on the other hand, we saw Brentford, and guys, we all kind of heard about Sangare for a while now, right? That he's part of a very well-performing Lens team that did run PSG closer to the end of the season last year, finished second in Liga, move across for just over 40 million, I believe it was, and fantastic, bro. Man. I don't know if hear the chant they have him already. It's absolutely class, by the way, if you have not heard it already. I will not do you all the shame of trying to sing it because Lord knows we don't need any more rain at this time of the year. But he was really, really good, and it just was so well functioned. I saw that they actually close to agreeing, or they're going to bid a higher fee for Malik Diouf soon. So we see if that one get across the line. And if not, I could put forward somebody. Anybody want to go against Sangare? Obviously we had the 2 wing backs who scored. We saw Lewis. Lewis Potter is somebody that I want to choose my words carefully because I usually would underrate it today and it sparked the wrong type of perspective. But I'm not surprised Lewis Potter don't get talked about more for even England. And it's nice to say England left back so blessed, And I think every time you watch Brentford, he's play well. No, okay.
He's not really a left back. He's he's just a general left-sided player.
I was always saying he's just left.
He's just left.
On the left.
Yeah,
fair enough. I was gonna say this about Spurs too, right? I understand that Spurs have to buy players. I'm not saying no. They clearly do. These players are not good enough. If it is 2 seasons and we finish in 17th, right? Regardless of the fact that they delivered United the most humiliating result in their history by beating them in the Europa League final, right? But like at the same time, when these players come back fit, they have on the books the two that they just signed, right? So the two Man City men. You can have Kulusevski, Madison, Kudus, Solanke, Richarlison, Tell, Odobert. Am I missing anybody?
Javi Simons.
Xavi Simons.
Oh, yeah, boy, damn.
Like where the guys, they don't have Europe, you know. So like where these guys go in, and they can't sell. And like, these men injured, right? They can't sell them. So like again, I'm well aware they have to buy men to play them, or else the alternative is Gallagher playing attacking midfield again, which we don't want to see. We really
The
don't.
big 2026 in a way. Gallagher.
But yeah, but I don't know what they got. And I mean, it is so unfortunate that last year they had injuries to the same type of players who want to be on the ball, players who want to create things. It's so crazy how long Kulusevski has not played football, bro. Like, is pretty mad. But yeah, who you guys want to put forward for the team of the week? Who you guys want to put forward for the team of the week?
Is this a serious question? There's
Well,
only
I
one
didn't know if-
candidate.
Okay, I didn't know if I was being so super hipster about Sangari, but he was really good. He was really good.
No, he was very good.
Obviously Kyle, they scored only his second goal. I just feel like when we saw what set pieces so much, my gut was telling me like he's scoreboard. But
No, because he's
Yeah.
on Trinity.
You can't
He's
score
the
from
one
there.
he's the one on the other end
Bro.
I set pieces.
them use the fact that them know they know for long throws, that them teeth on them head and take some short throws fast.
Dog, that bust my head like 5 times. You know? I tell this man, I think a long throw, bam, right there. I think we.
All right,
Serious
fair enough.
people.
Nice, cool. Moving it along now. So the next best result would have been if it was on the jaws of the feet with 5 minutes of regular time to go. But then 6 minutes later, you turn it completely around. And that is Enzo Maresca's Manchester City. Now, however, guys, I saw a hot take on Twitter and it said Phil Foden has already received his last England call-up. And at the time I thought, you know what? I could believe that in it. However, I am a founding chairperson of the Phil Foden Haters fan club, right? So I didn't really want to go too big on it. However, I can't lie right now, boy. It's looking dark. And I must say, it is very rude for the person with the most open player assists of the 2025-26 season to get benched for that man going into this game. And he then come into the game and showed why Phil Foden, you will never start above me for the rest of the season as long as I am fit. Virgil, I have nowhere else to start but with you.
Yeah, one day out here slandering your goat, but you know, the low-key right. But I feel like for this entire thing, it was very interesting because I feel like there's so much place to start. I feel like we can start from the fact that you know we still have Rico Lewis starting, but we could also start from the fact that he had Gay in midfield.
Yeah. He
and
in the midfield. Yeah.
There are a lot of players who we have signed. We have seen other clubs sign for way more money.
Virgil, sorry, just a pause there. Right? Like, I
Yeah.
actually thought he worked though. Did
No,
you?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I thought he did well. Yeah.
Yeah, it have a lot of players, a lot of midfielders going around, and then for Gay to slot in this midfield and be so comfortable and so composed, and he looked like he belong in that midfield. So
Yeah.
that was a big positive sign. But you could tell going into this game, you know, Maresca still feeling out the squad. A lot of players who came back into the squad didn't have preseason, so that's why he likes the Turkey and those players they were on the bench. But I'm being honest, this game really gave me a 2011 to 2013 Man City vibes. A kind of team where you know you have the quality, you know you're better than the opponent, but you're just unlucky and you're just missing that spark in that team.
Yeah.
So from the time Chucky came on, I felt like, okay, there's something there, there's something we could build on. And you know, credit him because he honestly showed why he deserves to start. He came on there and he
100%,
instantly changed that game. So there are a lot of things that he did try. Credit him because I saw with possession we were playing more of a 3-4-3. And out of possession, we brought back that old school style. We had us playing a 4-4-2 with both Haaland and Semenyo on top. So that was something strange to see. But he did build off a lot of what we saw last season. A lot of people have been talking about Maresca and seeing where they could go upwards here from this Pep Guardiola style of football. But we saw a lot of fast plays, a lot of direct passes. A lot of players trying their best. The first option is finding that forward pass, not so much sideways pass and backwards passing. And he would trying his best in transitions to hit them with speed, hit them on the counter attack. So even when we saw that chance that O'Reilly had set up for Haaland that he missed out, that came up from a counter attack that he wanted the players to move the ball fast in transition. So I have seen a lot of positive signs. The quality is there, but I feel like he still is missing some pieces because we've been on a fire sale right now. We've just been selling everybody, and right now we don't have any defenders in midfield. But I feel like it's there. I feel like this is something for him to build off on, and I feel if by game week 2, game week 3, we're still relying on having Gehi in our midfield, still relying on having the likes of Foden to try and play out of this bad form, then I will have some big question marks. But from everything that we saw of this game, credit to them for going behind and still showing that character to fight back and pull back that 3 points. But I'm not here to write home and say, okay, this is something a big achievement that happened. We managed to
Mhm.
just survive a scare.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon, obviously Maresca was coached at UR before this, right? They did say going into that he's very much staunch on his principles and these fullbacks occupying the half space with the wingers holding the width, right? What did you think about the game as somebody who previously had him managing your club?
Um, doesn't make me sound like a Maresca defender. I don't want it to be that. Um, the one thing I did notice, like in the game, that I thought was very similar to like his days at Chelsea, was that there there's a lot of missing that happens. Because on another day,
Mm,
Haaland gets at least 2 goals, right? There's an open header that there's a point blank header or a very easy header that he misses, that he should have scored. And to be honest, he had a good few chances. Some of them he just didn't get on the end of properly enough, didn't get the right type of contact. And on a different day, I can almost assure you in the next game he's going to score.
yup,
Maybe a hat trick in the next game, given what I
yup.
saw in that first game. But the my thing with Maresca is not always his tactics; it's the players he chooses to put in to execute those tactics. So, like for example, Malo Gusto in the number 10 is like a perfect example, right? People hated that, even though it worked in a tactical sense. But because Gusto is not the ideal player to do that,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it
yeah.
didn't look as good as it should have looked.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of saw that throughout the game, like when I trying to remember who it was that was popping up in the middle, boy. Oh gosh, was it? I can't remember if it was O'Reilly. But you saw it like at Guardiola towards the end, right? I know they were chasing the goal in the end, but look at Guardiola's position. Like at the end of the game, like he's literally in Haaland's position, and I guess it's because they dragged them out, and he was able to get that space open that they were able to do it well. But I saw a lot of things that I've seen before from him, and again, it's just like the quality that they have is probably what is going to bail them out in the end, because if you have somebody like Nico O'Reilly who is doing what Malo Gusto was doing at Chelsea, I think
Yes.
O'Reilly has a higher quality than Gusto in that particular situation, that they might be able to succeed a lot more. And I feel like he will. I don't want to say get away. I feel like he'll be more successful doing those things at City than he would have been at Chelsea, because I did see a lot of things that I've seen before. So yeah, but I
Excuse.
don't want to make it sound like I'm defending Maresca, because people just get all in their feelings about when you're talking about Maresca positively as a Chelsea fan.
Dikil, anything you want to say on this game again at all?
Um, yeah, honestly, I mean, City weren't bad. It's just that I know Guehi wasn't bad in midfield. I just don't know how long that could last. And I
So
mean,
apparently he was the one who suggested the Stones role of being inverted into midfield, and that is why like this being now a thing is not actually that surprising.
that is that different question for now. But I digress.
No, but what you're saying with having Gay in midfield, that is something that is not sustainable because that's it. If by game week 5 we see Gay in this midfield,
Yeah.
it is not going to make any sense at all.
And to that point as well, I think if Guehi himself was a CDM, I think he'd be the perfect person next to a player like Anderson. I don't know if you all have an option in a team right now, especially with Buhari coming in, that is a proper combination with Anderson. Um, I genuinely do think Anderson has a great qualities on the field, but I still think he needs somebody that's a little bit more combative than him. And to me, that's why Guehi made sense with him there. I don't think Buhari does that. I don't think Kovacic does that. I don't think, well, Nico Gonzalez going. I don't think all the other options I would probably put next to Anderson actually works going forward in a 60-game season. So I would be bated breath to see what Maresca is going to do. And well, to the other things, you all don't know how happy I was. Haaland, I was like, yes, yes, my hot take is going to come to pass. 37 more games to go. 37 more games.
Hey, I just want to say, Nikhil, I rate the fact that you poured that ticket, but I don't like how you put it up. You put it up like a coward, bro. Because it was like at most 21. You was like,
No,
you should have just start on business on 20.
You're right.
You should
I
have just start on
apologize.
business on 20.
As a matter of fact, he ain't going to reach 20. It's 19
All
again.
right. Okay. We just get worse. We just get
Let's have on a
worse.
second
No,
here.
no.
No, wait. So the man
you're-
get away.
racism.
The man
You're
get away on
pretty much
one game week. And now he doubling down. He get away on one game week and
this-
doubling
this-
down.
this-
now.
Put the match in my back.
This is blatant racism. I did not receive this support when I said this years ago.
No. I'm not supporting it. I rate the fact that he was willing to put that out. But then, like, how he put the caveat, okay, even if it's not 20, it might be 21. Like, spare me that.
No. I'm clearing it up now.
He
19.
said 19. No, he said
It's
19.
Under
19, yeah.
19.5 goals. Under 19.5
Bro,
goals.
you might even say, well, all right, well, I get away with 1 week. I could breathe. Nah, doubling down, I'm making it even harder for myself.
Bro, you don't know how much I was quaking for that whole game. You see the header, when he flicked it, I was like, oh.
Bro, it had a header that he kind of back across the box, and I'm like, why did you do that? Why did you head it towards goal? The last thing I just wanted to touch on before we come on to this is that as much as I absolutely love pulling the leg of Virgil over Phil Foden, Virgil, it really isn't looking good, Don. I mean, with all jokes aside, that I think while it would have been absolutely funny, and I definitely would have run victory laps over it if I chose to leave in the summer, I don't necessarily think it was the best thing for Foden's career that he did extend. You know, because I just think that he's playing it. We still don't know what is the best position for him and all this other stuff. But like the areas that he does play and just continue to get more and more crowded by players that are proving it more and more often. You know, Semenyo was fantastic throughout preseason. I know Community Shield and this weekend wasn't the best for him, but that is one. Doku, great. We even before I continue. No, earlier we get 2 games in a row with Grealish somewhat 2026 in it.
So
Like,
yeah, boy.
I can't believe this gimmick is continuing. You know? I thought it just Playboy Community Shield to window shop a minute. He is playing. He's playing meaningful minutes in meaningful game periods. So might be a thing. But yeah,
Hey, they win the game when he was on the field, eh?
Yeah, people.
And he didn't concede none with them on the field like that. So technically, his game state was 2-0. But yeah, Virgil, I just think it's not a good feel for. I mean, like again, there's one game in, but it feels like the safe option for them just being there right now. And I wonder that we will have that 1 period where he does score and contribute and stuff like that, right? But it's just not looking good for him right now, you know. And what's your thought?
Yeah, because I mean we've been saying this like last season before. The biggest question mark has always been on there's a leadership group within Man City. And Foden doesn't never be anywhere near that leadership group. That core four to be the main voices in the team. So for a player that has came through the ranks and they'll say everything and they talk about those things. He's been there 10 years, longest at the club, and he is not even seen as a leader in this team. And many times we've seen when he does start in his preferred position, it seems as though he's basically weakening the team because somebody else better is being put on the bench. And then most times in his career, we'll see he would get these opportunities when somebody else gets injured, and we'll say, okay, well, this is for Foden to shine. So like Doku being out, we see Foden on the right wing, seeing Foden a little more on the right. But just like last season, if now this season we hearing that okay, well now that Bernardo Silva is gone, Foden is Foden time to shine. We heard that before with Gundogan. We heard that before when De Bruyne left.
Bro. Yeah.
How much people stand in your way for you to shine? And now it's just making it harder because everybody else is going. The excuses are going. It is solely on you. You are the main man. We don't want to hear Foden and Elliot Anderson, Foden and this 18-year-old Boadi. It is Foden. He is the most senior man in that squad. And the fact that Cherky's coming in and Cherky could just get less than a half and make a serious impact. It honestly it raised a lot of question marks. And as I mentioned, Foden, there were times early in the transfer window Foden was linked to move away, and the only reason why a lot of City fans were against it is because of how it would look on the academy.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of academy members that came and went and whatever, but you can't really hold on to that. If Foden is not showing the quality on the pitch anymore, I really don't know how much more I could hold on. I don't know what else I could
Bro,
hold on to keep him at the
I'm not
club.
even joking. I think there's only like 3 outfield players older than Foden in this group now.
Yep.
Like I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
roughly checking it out, but that's actually crazy.
At this,
You
at this
know,
point, and at this point, with that age yet, and how long at the club,
one
you
of which is
can't.
Jack Grealish,
Yeah.
and the other one is Kovacic.
Yeah, you can't be speaking about Foden and using the sentence of using the word potential. This potential talk has happened so long ago. It is either here now, you had to deliver or not.
Yeah, but I mean, on the flip side of that, as we kind of mentioned in passing, Tricky was fantastic when he came on, absolutely spun the game on its head. And yeah, the corner was good. That was all hunky dory, right? The assist for the winner, though. Like when we talk about players that could find space in our phone box, bro, like this man manipulated the ball around so many men and perfectly weighed the ball. And the linesman did think that it was offside in real time, but he was actually perfectly outside. Hey, I big up Guardiola. If I ask my striker to take that touch, anyways, fantastic touch and finish by the centre back. But yeah, obviously Turkey is gonna be our inclusion from this game. All right, guys. So let me speed this one along. We don't have no Liverpool fans on the pod, so we don't have to go overly long on this one. However, it was an extraordinary funny game given that we all went to this season not too high on Newcastle, but he was expecting more from Liverpool on the day, and it was extremely lackluster. I'll be honest. I thought Woods was better than last year. However, better was by like 0.5%. And that is not saying much. And the truth is, we go into another season where I'm just starting to get to the conclusion it's just not going to work for him. And I know that it's probably going too big too early. I know it's a new coach. I know it's whatever. But let me just remind you all of what went on in this game, right? They were losing. They took him off. They brought on a midfielder, more prioritized, so was the most attacker in that midfield. How often only if we going to see that this season? I could guarantee we probably going to see that substitute more often or not. And if it is that your $116 million midfielder is going to have to keep getting subbed off when it is you're chasing games, something is wrong there. And I don't deny that there's talent there, whatever. It could just be wrong place, wrong time, whatever. But like, it is even funnier given that as Suicide grows more into his personality and his what's the word I'm looking for here? Like have his hands on this group and his fingerprints on this group. It's like what's more just standing in his way. and he's
Yeah.
going to slowly push Wirtz aside as he takes over. Because, like, who's on pens this weekend, guys? Who's on all these set pieces, guys? Who's the one carrying the ball forward, guys? This is football size team now. Whether we like it or not, whether we think is right or not, whether we think he's the most talented player or not. And Wirtz is just somebody in his way. And I think we are just pushing towards an uncomfortable end for some at least. Isak wasn't good this weekend as well. Probably one of the worst showings that he's had. And he's had a preseason. He has been fit. Um, there was a cheer from the crowd at one moment. You thought somebody scored. It was it's a sky the ball from the middle of the box. Um, Gakpo did score a great goal, but outside that was anonymous. Munoz did win a penalty. However, I think more credit probably has to go to Newcastle because some of these players on the day were fantastic. I want to pick up their coach as well because I thought the approach was very unique. So many things that they did, I didn't expect the two striker setup where Visa was playing as an auxiliary 10 in some ways, but he was fantastic. The whole up play, the carrying, the link play, the knowing when to release. I mean, he was unlocked. I mean, Newcastle probably should have scored more. The amount of times that the ball went across the box and nobody was there probably was tiredness at that point for some of these players. But I thought it was extremely strong showing. So we're just gonna go around quick and everybody can kind of say what they thought about the game. Talk about either side, talk about both, talk about one is up to you. Brandon, why don't you go first?
Okay, well, I'm gonna say some unpopular things, right? I'll get it out of the way, right? So the first thing I want to say is, well, I mentioned that the Spurs were the second worst midfield performance of the weekend. The first is Liverpool, because first of all, like in any form of football, right? Even like if you're sweating with your partners, right? If we all decide that we running up towards the goal, you cannot give away the ball. You can't,
Yeah.
because there's nobody back. Which is what happened on both occasions for the goal, right? So I know people are saying that the double pivot doesn't work with Gravenberg and whatever, right? But I think it's just that it's not that it doesn't work. It's just that those two particular moments are very poor decisions to take at that point in time that greatly cost the team, right? The second thing, I know a lot of people are blaming Kirkes for the goal. I actually think there's more blame to put on Van Dijk and
Oh
Xhaka
yeah.
for that
Yeah.
particular goal,
Yep.
because you can clearly see that Ilanga is getting beyond him, right? You
Mhm.
can't
They can
continue
see
to run
that.
back.
Yeah,
You
he had to go
can't
to him.
continue to run back. You have to
Yeah.
hold the line. You know, like you
Yeah.
have to try and even if you don't catch him offside, he's already past you. Like you're not catching him anyway, right?
Good
So I
to
think
him.
that was a poor decision in at that point, right? But on the Newcastle side, I thought that they were excellent. Like really and truly. Like Wissa played out of his mind. That's probably one of the best games I've seen from Wissa since he's come into the Premier League.
Yeah, no,
And he
it
didn't he
was
didn't even
fantastic.
score, but I thought
Yeah.
he was absolutely excellent. And there were a lot of good performances from Newcastle, and it just speaks to how poor Liverpool really were. Because this Newcastle, this is like the skeleton of Newcastle right now.
Mhm.
Like this is not even them going and firing on all cylinders. This is not them with their best players. They're not like a 10 game winning streak or whatever. This is the first game of the season, right? And another thing I wanted to say, which I think is a big positive for them, is that John, you know this very well. I have complained about pride in football for a long time, and I really think that memorial moment they had for Kevin Keegan at the start of the game, I think that really propelled them, because they were like, this guy has been extremely good for us. He was a great servant of the club. He did a lot for us. He's one of the reasons that we are here today. And at this very moment in time, I think they did really well, and the fans really appreciated what they were doing. And because that guy in midfield, boy, what's his name, Stour, whatever his name is, yeah,
Still,
he was
That's
pretty
what
good, bro.
that's what I wanted to big up. Malians to actually make Gavin Birch and Sobos Life a large part of
yeah,
the game look like children, bro. They were just passing the ball around them, bro. And
yeah,
like, and not to say they were doing some like big magical thing, they were just keeping the ball and moving it around. And they were just moving to Liverpool. And I really like how Miley and Stu was playing. That's
yeah.
actually those were my two favorite players in the game, and because Wissa is a professional, we've seen Wissa play football. He's a very good player, those kind of things. But I really like how that pivot play yesterday. I'm gonna lie.
Yeah, I was so sad by the fact that Osula got injured early on because like I thought some of his early actions were so good, dog. I wouldn't lie. I think like 2026 amongst Newcastle kind of falling apart. He's actually grown a lot as a player and started to come into his own. And somebody else I wanted to bring was Derich. I thought he was really good at right back.
Yeah,
I know
he
Gakpo
was.
is
He
not
was.
the most tricky customer to defend against, but he was really good. Even going forward, because some of those balls that were going across the box, it was he that played those as well, and he got forward really, really well. And if it wasn't for a bad moment by Hall, who I didn't actually think had the best game. I said this in the group, right? I thought like he was overcomplicated some very easy actions to come out from and stuff like that because I know there's always a tricky line between overcomplicating and a player taking responsibility, right? So like I don't want to go too far in that, but that penalty was very avoidable. It was a pen, but it was avoidable because Munoz was going nowhere, and we could have been sitting down here with a 2-1 loss, and we could have laughed for, but we can't, and that's fine. But Brandon used the right word there, but I thought it was really pride that came into this game with them. And I think Newcastle fans probably would be worried as to what their picture might have looked like this season if this is the foundation that they're putting down. And I don't know if you all heard Yassel's press conferences and the way he spoke on. I wouldn't like that is kind of match I can see them getting behind, you know? So let's see what they have first. Let's see what they have in store. Virgil, anything you want to say before we close off?
Oh, yeah. All I want to add is that the fact that Newcastle and Liverpool draw, it just so we could have a game make where we had no draws. It could just be all 3 points and 0 points. I'd disappointed in
All
that.
again, boy. All
Mhm.
again.
Can I
To be honest,
reiterate
though-
your words point before we move off of this?
Yeah, because I was actually going to
Please.
say though, like, I
Please
watching the
do.
lineup here again, man. I'm thinking, like, bro, we really letting some players get off kind of easy here. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, well, I mean
Please
that's another
do.
thing too, right? Like, I mean, I think it was a mistake to play Rio on the right. I think like he's completely wasted on the right. I mean, if you want to get there, like Frimpong is, I saw somebody say Frimpong attacks like a defender and he defends like an attacker. I think that's the perfect description for him as a player. I don't think there's something better to say than that.
Wait. I just want to say, life comes at you very fast, right? These men wanted a hound tread because he wanted to leave whatever, right? I said, don't worry, we get Frimpong. You could go screw you, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, tread
Mhm.
life hasn't worked out. I'm aware of that, right? Them men go on from tread pinging balls on a dime from the half volley across the field. On your front ball goes across the ball. Force it to even come off the ground and hit the first man in his shin. I can't die laughing right then and there.
They say he double tap square by mistake, boy.
Yeah, I've been there.
I've been on
Been
this.
there. This happened. But yeah,
I've-
right.
I've been here.
No, but I wanna, and this is something that I realized when we did the prediction pod, right? Nobody had worse as a bounce back player, right? Like, and I think that was so telling, like listening to it afterwards, because everybody told, like, I think like everybody is under the assumption that he will get better, right? And if anything, I think he looks exactly as he did last year. Like, he doesn't look any different at all. Like, there's literally no action that he's taken and literally nothing that he's doing with the ball that looks any different. And I don't understand, like, across two managers, right? Like, what is his role? What is his
And he had a whole
function?
preseason, Emran.
Yeah, what is his function? What is like? Is this his job to score? Is it his job to create? Is this his job to carry the ball? Because he's doing none of it. Like, he just pops up every now and then. And you should probably watch, like, the next time you like actually watch him play. Like, he literally either holds on to the ball too long, or he gives up the ball way too quickly for him to actually do anything with the ball. And I just getting tired of it now, boy. Like, I think it was about this time last year when Patrick and I had this, not an argument, but a disagreement on I was saying that how he did nothing against Burnley. Like, when are you going to do something if not against, like, the easiest teams in the league?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When is he actually going to do something? Like, you could probably count on one hand how many good games he's had since he's come to England. And it's going into a second season now. And I think this is getting really poor now, boy. Like, at some point, like, if you don't get it right, a lot of players barely get one season. As a Chelsea fan, I can tell you that some players don't get one season. He is
I
actually
wish some of our players
fortunate
wouldn't get one on
to be getting, like, this amount of leeway from everybody.
And I
Bro,
think
you saying that, and I think I don't know if it's a defense of Woods, but I feel like Liverpool and all on the whole didn't look different from last season.
That's
Like I
a,
told
that's a
you,
fair point.
like I told you
That's
in
a
the
fair
chat,
point.
bro. I literally said, I said it just to be funny, but
It was
it felt
funny.
like Game Week
But it
39,
felt
bro.
like,
It just
yeah.
felt like a
Ah.
continuation of last
Yeah.
year. It felt the exact same way.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, right? I know what we were saying I was going to come up with this, right? Last year, we had our player who did quite well in the league named Eli Junior Krupi, right? Yeah, before that, we had somebody who scored a hat trick, all kind of thing from penalty spot, and Justin Clivert, right? These is two attacking midfielders who thrived on the Iraola, right? Don't see any similarities between them and Woods. I'm not saying that
Playing
that
wise,
manager.
or
No, yeah, playing wise, style wise, right? And there isn't any, right? And I'm not saying that that manager is not asked to be tactically flexible and adapt to the players he has, right? But this is just not the type of player that we like. The closest player I could think of, and I still don't even think this is close. I just think that there's probably one or two traits they share is Alex Scott. But he doesn't even have an ounce of the intensity that no, him or not in terms of like technically secure and can pass on the ball, right? But the way that Alex Scott has the tenacity and the athleticism to drop deeper and to be the one that dictates and carries the play and carry them forward and stuff like that. That intent and that's the thing, right? I don't want to make it sound like, and this is why I said it could just be the wrong time for Wurtz in this league, right? But he just lacks that punch in his game. And the thing is, it's not like there's an area of the field we could put him in, and that lack of punch is not an issue. Because everywhere requires that intensity now. Every team, down to Hull City, will try to press you. You need to have that bite to your game to get past players. And it feels like he just does not, and there's no urgency in his game to make things happen. You know?
let me pose a question to the three of you, right? Because I know we want to get off of this, but it's a serious question, right? Outside of the three promoted teams that we haven't seen yet play to know how they play in the Premier League, do you all think Wurtz fits into any of the teams from last season going into this season? And he would like undoubtedly be a success.
You see, the only one you would argue is like City, right? But then that's just more off of like you
So,
kind
but
of
do you
think.
but do you think he would? I don't think so.
I don't
Truthfully.
think he would.
I wouldn't want Wurtz over Turkey.
Could he move Turkey?
Yeah.
No,
he shift
I didn't even
Turkey?
say more
Can't.
Turkey. I'm more saying like, well, if you're going and play Grealish out wide, you could probably get away playing Turkey there. I mean, not Turkey, you could get away playing Wurtz there.
No, but even then, I find like a player like Grealish. I'm a German. I support Germany, so I have a first-hand sight of what Wurtz does. He doesn't do anything. The things that you think he can do, he doesn't do. He doesn't help a team. Like it's like you see how Leverkusen was specifically built for Wurtz to be the focal point. Wurtz is clearly not the player that I could move from that and just put him in, thinking, okay, he's a creative midfielder. He could make this team better. Absolutely not. Wurtz is, bro. He's so. I don't know how to put it in words, bro. But he's not creative enough. He's not, as you say, he don't have enough intensity in his game. For a creative midfielder, I find he'll be passing out wide too much.
Well,
Like,
I was not gonna say, right?
He's not incisive.
I'm not when I say incisive, bro. Like,
You don't force the game, and like I know, like there's nothing that is Bruno. You don't force the game either. He just
he
be
doesn't.
there.
Yeah.
He just be there, and it's very frustrating. I can imagine as a Liverpool fan, because I be frustrated. He just exists on the pitch unless the ball directly comes to him, and unless like a true ball is like glaring in his face. He's not. He don't try anything.
I'm not gonna say, right? Like, we've had a year and a game evidence of this man. I can't tell you an assist he gets. I can't even.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doubting that he has. Like, he does have, right? Like,
Yeah, he does. Don't do that.
Yeah. I forget Wolves I think existed, right? But like, I don't have a picture in my head. Like the thing is, I can tell you memorable moments Turkey had last year. I can tell you memorable moments that Bruno had. I could tell you memorable moments even somebody that was like maligned as I could tell you moments that these guys had, right? I can't tell you a moment that Wirtz has had yet. And this was a record breaking player. And not the problem with that is that the problem with the current financial landscape, but the problem with where the transfer market is right now is that like this is it, guys. Like, he's not going anywhere. Like I'm telling you, he's not going anywhere. And this is now Liverpool's problem. Unless they're about to ship off 20, I'm thinking he's like 23, 24 at this point. Florian Wirtz to Al Hilal, they're like, this is it here. And now that makes it sound like he's unsalvageable, right? But the thing is like I don't see how like he's not going to gain intensity in this game at this point. And the thing is, I feel like I see somebody who's be afraid in these games, boy. To actually take something and force an issue. That is not going to change now. So yeah.
He's like an extra luxury player, boy.
Yeah,
boy. And they have luxury players, but he's like a tier above that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, all right. This definitely gonna make it.
He's like Ozil without Ozil.
Yeah. It is though. This is like all the worst. This was all the parts that people complain about Ozil in his latter years. But without that final pass and that execution and stuff like that, I know thinking too, right? I remember I'm fairly certain I probably was a Wirtz camp at some point.
Like this?
From his Leverkusen days.
Oh,
right?
Oh, that makes sense. Sorry.
I can't even tell you see that pass and that also. But like, wow. And that's concern. But then again, right? They also bring Frimpong across here though. Like actually so old. No, that's a good thing. And he is 23. He turned 23 in May this year. To Wirtz that is, right? Oh gosh, I hope I could find it. Did I lose that? Oh, right. In his final season at Leverkusen, Jeremy Frimpong was the second fastest player in the Bundesliga based on top speed. In his first season at Liverpool, he was ranked as the 27th fastest player in the Premier League now. And I just trying to show like that is a huge difference now in terms of demand of athleticism within the league now. That your superpower that had you as the 1% in that league has dropped you out of the top 25 in another league now. And then like when we watch these players come across here, right? And what's the funny thing, the kill in particular, right? We spoke about this with these men coming across, and you are in particular tell me don't study it today. But dog, now them men stuck with an attacking midfielder who lacks pace, lacks that X factor, lacks intensity, everything we just cover slander any man. They have a right back who not even that fast compared to the league. Can't cross, can't pass, can't defend, can't shoot.
When you buy a
and they fumble the bag. And they fumble the bag of hiring the coach who made that work.
When you're playing clubs and you buy an archetype, the base or the archetype just come. He can't do nothing. Yeah. It's like you buy a creator, but the creator is like level 62, and you had to go and buy all the coins to put him on your player. That's what Wirtz is. Wirtz is a bronze card.
Yeah, and they refuse to put the coins on him. They just refuse to put the coins on him. Alright guys, so I'm assuming everybody's in unison and willing to put Johan Wissa in this because he was really fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Nice, cool. Our next game where a striker had a good game, but say the striker alone is at the service because the entire front three had a great game. Brandon, I have a nickname for this front three yet?
JP Morgan.
Fizz.
Hey.
Fizz.
Is that the one whose slow is my money? I want to know. That is not that one. No, that's
JG went to it.
Yeah. No, but hey, we just came off of watching Fulham versus Chelsea. The West London derby, I believe it is. And it was a fantastic game. In fact, this is going to be our spotlight game for the weekend. I think this is the most entertaining game it was. We're gonna pull two players from this game, right? Joao Pedro was great. Palmer. honestly, guys, I think this is
He's
about
back.
best Palmer. I didn't want to go as far to say in like the last 2 years, but it genuinely felt like the best
No, he's
Palmer that
back.
I've seen in the last 2 years. Where he was so fantastic. The touch was crisp, the creation was crisp, the retention to the releasement was crisp, the dribbling was back. It had this one move where I think Gusto was run offside. He realized he was offside. He's like, all right, cool, forget it. I gotta do it myself. They dribbled through three man. If it wasn't for somebody getting the smallest touch on the ball, it was gonna curl into the bottom corner. Like these guys, like, and then obviously Morgan Rogers also scored on his debut as well. However, going the other way, there was a few issues going in next year. So Brandon, I'm gonna just straight over to you now. Wait till bring him.
Well, I mean, going the other way. I mean, this is like the
Don't talk about the keeper yet though. 'Cause I want to ask you something separate.
okay. Well, I guess going the other way wasn't so bad, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, I don't think Caldwell had a very good
No,
game.
it
I
wasn't
think
that
he looked,
bad. Yeah,
I think
he had a
he
bad
looked pretty
game,
poor.
but the
I think he was
rest.
pretty poor. I thought
Lacroix was
Lacroix
good. I thought
very good.
fantastic.
Um,
Yeah.
Like apart from us conceding 2 goals outside, I thought he was excellent. That drag for the goal is
For the
just
goal,
disgusting. I thought Reece James again was good. Gusto wasn't terrible.
yeah. I thought Hato was good too.
Oh yeah, well, I actually don't think Hato was that great either. But we saw a lot of new faces that we're gonna see throughout the rest of the season. I guess so
Did we
Shabaria
hear the
come
reason
on.
as to why Caicedo wasn't in his squad?
Caicedo picked up a knock in training, so he wasn't fit enough to play the game. I assume that's a precaution. We playing less games this season, so I assume that if he could just like rest Caicedo for one game, if that means he's gonna play 20 games further down the line, I think that's a better idea.
Mm-hmm.
Palestra also didn't make the team. I actually didn't see why he didn't make the team, but I assume it might be a knock as well. But you saw a lot of things that we trying to do with all of the new faces and everything, and I think that'll take a little bit of time. But I really don't have anything else to say apart from the keeper,
All right,
because
well,
that
let me broach the keeper one then, right? We have long heard about Mike Penders being this extremely talented prodigy, right? Like I'm well aware that Sede Lamans is currently the number 2 in Belgium, right? And has proven to be a very good keeper in the league, right? However, we have heard for a very long time that Mike Penders is supposed to be the next Thibaut Courtois, right? That has been the legacy that's been built up behind him, right? And the whole reason that Chelsea has foregone signing another keeper is to continue to ensure that this pathway is clear for him, right? Right now we get to that point where it can't be a pathway anymore. It has to be a door. Because there's no longer a period where, like, there's not a time that Robert Sargent goes to execute that action and I'm comfortable. Like that is just the flat out truth about it. Even if he's coming out to punch a ball, and I'm well aware that he's a very capable keeper, because when he's on it, he's a good keeper, But because he's always like, there's no comfort to me as a neutral watching him, It has to go from the season it being a pathway to, like, now stuff we need to see that Mike Penn has had to come in down, because it's too long you're going through this now, right? It's too long you're going through with Sargent could fluctuate from being one of the top 3 keepers in the league, because we said that at that point last year that he was playing that well, to him fluctuate into errors almost every other game, and that's kind of patches he goes through. So yeah.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, right, like, it's two things. So you said that, Mike Pennas is supposed to be the next Thibaut Courtois, right? Well, Sanchez is the next Pinto, like the guy who used to keep for Barca, right? and he's also the reincarnation of Pepe Reina, but it's actually Pepe the defender and Giovanni Reina.
Nah.
So that's
You're wrong.
he literally loses his mind every now and then and thinks he's good at his feet. So that's either side of it, right? But
Oh my
it's
God.
it's just a constant thing with him,
Funny.
boy. Like, even when you think he's turning that corner, like, it's just a circle now, boy. Like, it just it's like NASCAR. Like, no matter how many how many corners you take, you're still running the same track at the end of the
Yeah.
day. So it's so hard for anybody and any Chelsea fan to really, like, be confident that he is going to improve in any type of way. And I've been real honest with you, boy. After that performance, I would be shocked. I'd be gobsmacked. Like, woe be gone like taken aback. Every single word you could come up in a thesaurus. I would be so surprised if Penders doesn't start the next
No,
game.
well, let
Like
me let me wait
he has
Penders.
to. He
Let me wait
absolutely
Penders two
has to
games.
play.
He can start after game week 3.
No,
After
no,
that,
no.
he can let
I'm not
Penders
even
play.
joking with you, bro. I think Penders, like, if Penders ever needed a moment in his life, like some things just happen in life where it has just caused a whole a whole butterfly effect, like how
Mhm.
they say um is who does I mean Martinez
Yeah,
starting
the
still
injury from
Arsenal to try,
Morphe that caused that
right,
and
like
that.
all of like that, those kind of things. Josh King firing from 13 yards, oh sorry, from 20 yards. This is Mike Pender's, like, this is the start of his career here. Like,
Yeah.
he has to take it. I hope Alonso sees it, because it can't continue, boy. It just can't. Like, your brother even messaged me after that, and he was like, "Just start Penders." Like, I know when your brother messaged me, like, it's a real serious thing. Like, it's just like
Yeah.
it's so hard, boy. It's so hard. And the thing is, the game could have been so much
No, because as you said,
like
right,
more
you didn't think that
comfortable.
there was defensively any real problems, right?
No, I
He
didn't think so.
caused the problems. Like
Yeah,
he that was a savable shot. The first one, the second one, you should be holding that. That should not be a parry back into
yeah,
the danger, bro.
yeah.
Like,
Bro, he
No,
let the ball roll out for a corner.
dog, yes,
Indeed.
under no pressure
I wasn't
too,
even gonna bring that up, but you said it. I wasn't even gonna bring that up.
What are you
dog.
doing?
And on top of that, he kicked the ground, like trying to kick away the ball. You literally saw the dust and dew fly up when he kicked the ball.
Bro, what are you doing?
But I mean, for what it's worth though, we saw some really strong performances, and I think we went into the season all fairly high on what João Pedro was about to offer. I think the other positive was seeing Palmer bounce back the way that he did. Like, this genuinely felt like that period between Poch and Maresca where everything was turning to goal. Today really felt like that. And if that is the Palmer we get, we in for a very good Chelsea season.
No,
The,
not only that, John. Like, I think like I don't think Rogers had a very strong overall
no,
performance, but the fact that he got the goal, I think, is very good, because I can't tell you, like, I would struggle to tell you when is the last time a front three on the first game of the season scored. Like, all three of them. I definitely wouldn't be able to tell it off the top of my head. But the fact that I can't probably suggests that it hasn't happened very often. And I think that's a very good
Can I
sign.
probably say it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you probably could have, but I mean, it's just
Yeah. No, I
like
didn't.
I say,
But
yeah, but it's something that doesn't happen very often.
no, it
And
doesn't. It doesn't.
That's not
And it is the first
even going to
time-
be. That's not even the
Mhm.
starting 11. Like, that's not even the strongest 11 that was on the field
Yeah.
as well. So if you want to
Um,
if you want to put it down to bad performances defensively, however, it could probably only go up from
No.
there.
Bro, and the thing is, like, outside of the goals you scored, you created so many opportunities. Now, I'm also saying this as somebody that has Fulham going down, right? So, like, but I did feel fairly encouraged seeing him today, I did think Gonzalo, outside of his goal, did had some good moments and stuff. I saw some good fight from him. The number 8, I didn't really feel like it. I didn't really think he added much, to be honest. Josh King, though, I am not taking any contenders. He has to go into that. Sorry. Like, he has to go into the team, bro. He was so, so, so good, though. He was so key to everything good about them. And he was a few inches away from scoring the equalizer when it was 2-3 to make it 3-all. When he spun, I think it was reshaped, he had spin, and he put it just past the post. Anything else, Charlie, to come out from this game, boy? Oh, this is the last thing I want to ask, and I'll try to two of them to say anything. Given the stuff that has transpired over the last week, and the fact that no matter what Enzo Fernandez does, he is booed. You said last week you felt very confident he's going to still be a Chelsea player at the end of the window. Has that confidence changed?
No, I wouldn't say so. I still think a lot of those boos coming from his actions after the England game.
100%, yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. Chelsea fans are a fickle bunch, and I know, like, a lot of them just want him to leave at this point. I think that's a lot to do with, like, the bias against him. I think there's for many years now, people have been, like, trying to, like, get rid of him and, like, say he shouldn't be in our team or whatever. My only thing is, right, like, I just think it's a strange notion to assume that City are clearing out all of this. Like they're clearing out five players just to bring in one person. I think that's a very strange notion. And
One more is Enzo and Gakpo apparently.
well, I mean, that's even worse, right? To just bring in two, and there's the two.
So
Like,
this
but
is I know we probably say this every year, but this is the weirdest window ever. Like this really has been a super straight. Anybody here content with your summer business? Alright, content
So,
is probably putting it too light. But like, are you happy with your summer's business?
the options in this market, the options in the market and the
That is
prices
it,
that
you
being
know.
shown around, it just don't match. It
Because the
just
thing
doesn't
is,
match.
right? The players that we bring in, I'm real happy with. Is the players that we have not brought in yet. You know? Like, I don't know how you feel, right, Nikhil? But like, if I was a United fan, the three midfielders we brought in, I think I would have been quite happy with those, right? The issue is not the ones that you bring in. It's the lack of other things that we did not bring in yet. You
Yeah.
know?
could I just put something to y'all? I mean, like this is a general question, right? If y'all truly believe that we go into like Enzo is leaving, right? Like
Mhm.
I assume you think that Chelsea is going to replace him.
Yes. I do.
And who would that replacement be with a week left in the window?
Some
I feel
17-year-old from
I
Colombia.
feel like all signs point at Alex
No,
Scott.
no. I was gonna say Scott too, but I actually think, and I know this kind of hot take ish, but I'll take it. I think it'll be one of the Real Madrid midfielders,
Yeah, but which one?
whichever one Jose like less on the day.
Kamau.
Yeah, I was thinking Kama, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
true. I feel like I miss Alex Scott.
For you, my friend, Ugarte. For you, my friend, Ugarte.
One-legged Ugarte.
Okay, for you,
All
my
right,
friend.
so I am cool with.
I'll take Superman, John, if you don't mind.
Can't afford, bro. You
Oh,
know,
wait,
I mean, I'm
wait,
saying
wait.
that. No, all they can definitely
Yeah.
afford.
Yeah.
Between the only two clubs in this country can definitely afford is all.
And what I want to add with that whole transfer talk and things not matching up,
Yeah.
I feel like Chelsea have to do a little re-evaluation of the number they thrown out for Pedro Neto after what he just did at the coming
I
out to end that game.
cannot wait to see City match that to the dog.
No, please don't be City. But that is nowhere near 100 million player that I saw in that Chelsea game. That is not even close to 60 million.
Brody, 100M is 100 meters, you know. If all it wasn't
Oh,
sure.
yeah, it makes sense.
Nah, boy.
All right. So who's the two players we pull in from this? I really do want to put
Cool,
King, but
Palmer.
I
You
could
don't ask
understand
the
if
killer anything, or?
the kill. Did you want to say anything?
Just put Cool Palmer in the team. I know you're talking about my tactical analysis, but put Cool Palmer in the team. I think Cool Palmer is
Do you all
so
want to
good.
put Palmer? I know I said King before, but like Palmer and João Pedro will be really good. Do you all want to put the two of them?
Yeah,
I
João
also
Pedro
don't
will be
think
there.
how much other striker options in a way. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
You see? We
I thought
spend
he
the
would be
whole
able-
block and we back to McBurney. You see?
Right. And the last
will be
big
able to
16
get
to
to
talk
it.
about is the team that probably had the easiest game. Well, I was going to say easiest game at anybody this weekend, but I think Brighton might have something to say about that, which we'll get onto them and hopefully not too long from now. But yeah, great opening day. Was quite happy with a lot of the performances. Havertz with a very, very good finish actually for the opener. And then Saka and Odegaard with easier finishes after some very, very good moves. And I just thought the football was really good overall, completely well running. And I truly said earlier, I watched what after that. It just was really, really good. And I think like there's not enough being said because we can't quantify what it actually does of this team now playing with the freedom of knowing, yeah, well, we have proven we can win this league, you know, and they can play much more relaxed and not feel like they have something to prove after all these years, you know. And big up Solis, who has been the man in the match for me, because he was absolutely excellent. Almost every single touch was perfect, every action was perfect, and definitely looked like the best possible option we could have asked for to replace Trossard, who I missed dearly, but it was just time to move him on. And when you look at that inflated market that is what it is now, Solis doing what he's been doing has been absolutely fantastic, bro. And I mean, that is the kind of gambles I'm okay taking on now. You know, he's 24 years old. In 2 years, he didn't work out. He'll be 26. He could have still moved him on, right? but he was 24 years old with 50-something returns in the Belgian league, though. Like, that is the kind of player that, okay, fine, you take a chance on. I had no problem with that. And yeah, top to bottom, if there's anything, the outside the positives that were on the day, because there were a lot of them, I wanted to ask if you all think that there's anything to the fact that Gyökeres did not come on the pitch.
Vicky, you go first.
No.
Is it no because they don't want to do
Why?
something?
No. Why would you bring on Gyökeres to do what?
Well, I would have thought that Kai would have been one of them to get sub, right? One, because he obviously he's still making his way back to be fit for a while now. And then two, Coventry is a former side that Gyökeres played for, So, like, he would get a chance to play. And, like, they even interviewed him before the game, by the way.
Yeah.
Not directly before, like, the day before. So they asked him, like, if he excited to play against his former club, blah, blah, blah. But it didn't happen,
Gyökeres solved the issue that I say solved. Gyökeres, you needed a striker last year. He came in, he was a striker, and it worked. You
Yes.
don't need that anymore because it already worked. If you understand what I'm saying. Gyökeres is not going to have a key part to play in this Arsenal team ever in his life again. He's never going to play the amount of minutes that he played for Arsenal again. The only thing is that, I'm actually going to say it. Mikel Merino being fit is even better now. Gyökeres is not going to play a lot of football anymore.
Bro, I am fully for sell the man between Kai and Merino, hold it out till January.
Yeah, until you're able to get the type of number 9 that would fit the way you all play. And then he's not going to play much football anymore. Yeah. So that's why I say I don't see this as a big deal, because to me this was coming since last year. In big games, he dropped Gyökeres. He started. You realize when Havertz was fit, Havertz wasn't fit.
Right? And I don't think, like, one game is happenstance, two is coincidence, though. After that point is a trend, right? I don't think it's coincidence. The last year is when our big six record fell off, and it's when he played a catch. What about that bit stuff? But yeah, Virgil, Brandon, all you think it addicted, or you feel he might be leaving. I mean, my feelings are very clear, but that is exercise.
Julie, do you want to offer anything?
No, well, I feel like that was the biggest question mark there when you saw 90 minutes went on, we didn't see Gyökeres, but I feel like the question of all just repeating itself. It's the question and saying of can Arsenal get the number 9 or the striker that they need, because the fact that they have a striker on the bench and they didn't care to bring him on, I feel like that gives enough sign that they're not content, or they don't even see him being that solution. Yeah, he played a part last season, but the fact that you are third choice to 2 midfielders, I feel like that gives all the signs there. So however it's going to play out, I'm not sure. I feel like it's been confusing. I'm not too sure what really going on with the whole Gyökeres situation, but you feel that Arsenal feel like he's not exactly what they need and where they want to be.
Brandon, anything?
Well, first of all, I just don't think it made any sense for him to come on in general. The game was already
really don't
won.
feel like it's harsh for him not to come on against the former side, though.
No, not really. I mean,
sentiment in football is not a real thing.
Yeah, I don't think sentiment is. I know as an Arsenal fan, it's hard for all to know that because I have real sentiment in a way. But,
too much apparently.
But I don't think.
I
think there's
too
anything.
much.
My only thing is, boy, like, I don't know where he goes. Like, even if you think he's leaving, I don't know where he goes.
He can go police force for like it.
Go back, like
Coventry.
In fact, don't call police force, because then I might see him. I don't ever see him again.
Oh yeah, Malmo for real.
Why not?
No, let me ask you a question. Would you sell him to a Prem club?
100%. Couldn't care.
That's so funny.
You know what? I would be willing to play that club 10 times for the season. No problem. Like, I would tempt fate on the squad against a former side, thinking, you know why does man play Brighton last year and had 2 of his worst games for us for the year against his former side. Other man is getting more motivated. He's getting demotivated.
Bro, no, but bro, you know why he didn't come on against
He
Coventry?
played Sporting last year and was terrible.
But that why he didn't play
And you
against
wanted him to play Coventry, all of that
Okay,
loss.
all
All
that
of that
loss.
loss.
4-3.
No.
With
That
10 minutes
comeback.
to go.
No, the goal Harvard score, he would have crossed his foot over and fall over and be like, ref. I ain't even a good.
The pause was
But-
insane, by the way. That pause.
But I mean, based on how the conversation
No, but you know what's the
we didn't
thing?
really get to
I
talk
mean,
about Arsenal.
this so besides the point there, but like one of the annoying narratives that this Yockers thing has brought out is that, like, you know, Arsenal's play better with a midfielder on top of that kind of thing. Right? It's not even that, in it. Apparently, it's too much to ask a striker to have a touch. It's too much to ask a striker
Yeah.
to be able to complete a pass. There you ask a brother not to pass it out of play when it is he might just be 10 yards from the byline. That is too much to ask. But yeah, the kid is gonna say about how you
No, I was gonna say
on the opening day.
wrap it up, bro. Wrap it up. It is done. Wrap it up. Let's prepare for next season one time. Let me prepare.
Bro, the
Because-
the race for Champions League is on, bro. That's all that matters, bro.
Yeah.
And,
Nothing else
and
matters.
funnily enough, that's probably the only thing they really need to focus. No, I think
I still
Arsenal
don't think. I still think we need a
put
little
the foot on the
more.
gas and win the league and a cup. Win the league and go strong for Champions League. But I mean, bro, I watch Arsenal play and I'm like,
one thing first. One thing.
this too natural. Like this happening like it's supposed to happen. They're not playing football. They're just going through the motions and
Yeah.
scoring goals. It was
Yeah.
too normal, bro.
That's the thing. Like, I didn't even feel like we get out of first gear.
They
Like,
come out
yes,
and
we
they
played
come
well,
out again. And
But
to be fair, it is Coventry, a team that newly promoted. But even in that, bro, it
Mind
looked
you,
too normal.
mind you, that was the one team we unanimously all said staying up. But it was the one team. that
Bro, they
played
get
terrible.
moved too. They
You
got
know?
moved too.
Mind you, they did have the hardest fixture, right, of the
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Them losing was on the cards regardless of what was going to happen. But, bro,
okay,
Arsenal
so-
look pouring.
Yeah, but I mean, we did, and I mean, like, we even playing Villa next week, and like, obviously, it's not looking good for Villa right now.
Yeah.
There's like, I expect that we go there and repeat this now, you know. Also, or someone who didn't get mentioned, by the way, but who was absolutely fantastic, and this was only the second time that the four of them played together, was Benjamin White, dog. And he
Oh,
was
for
so
real.
good.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
was so good, dog.
Well, it's
Yeah.
crazy because I thought it was going to talk about somebody else because everybody was so blasted good. I thought Skelly was exceptional.
Oh yeah, man. He was so
He
good.
was great.
Dog. It's hard one. When the midfielder from Ghana, who won Young Player of the Year in the Danish League, he got a body Skelly just hit him, move, man, and the man fall on the floor and he run around him. But no, but this is the second time since December 2024 that Kai Saka would have gone and White get to play together with. And I mean, you can see why it is they play so well together. And the best signing we make so far for the window, guys, are sticking by this, is that we destroy the entire medical upper forwards department and we put in a new one, and hopefully this one will be better than the last one. And then everybody dreams can come true that Arsenal to go back to back and make everybody here happy, get everybody
Who
predictions
dreams
out
is
there.
that?
So everybody will get to say that their predictions was right.
I want to be wrong.
Anybody, mind you, he was the only one who predicted Arsenal to win the league last year.
Yeah, because I saw it coming. I saw it. Now it's worse.
Anybody does not want to put solace in? If not, we can leave
No,
it.
that's
Nah, yeah.
Ah, Solace was great.
All right, cool. So we're going to just shoot through the remaining games, right? So the Saturday morning fixture that I watched was Sunderland versus Ipswich. And let me tell you something. You see, Brian, bro, I could knock this man in the head, but I want the opportunities. This man had to do something. I did absolutely terrible. But former Sunderland player Clark scored the winner in the 90th minute. And I don't think he's going to get any team because of how this team started to set up here. However, Julio Enciso was fantastic for Ipswich, dog. And if they have any hope in hell of staying up, he has the set of it, bro. He was so good. In terms of players to put forward, I mean, Lukic got assists, and I did think he played pretty well. I mean, Solomon did have most of the ball, boy, but oh gosh, I mean, Xhaka also was really good too. But I don't think this is one of the games to put Xhaka in. That there would be games I would push to put Xhaka in. Anybody only want to put forward at all? Davis, I thought was pretty good as well. My God, tell him
Oh,
I was the only
Leaf?
one who
Yeah,
watched
I
the
go take
score.
Leaf. I go take Leaf.
Leaf, all right, yeah, I could take Leaf. Nice. Nice. Moving along now, the other game that happened that morning was Everton winning 2-0. And first 5 games, this man apparently is still into Messi every year. And this is Keita Drewsbury Hall. And
Yeah.
That goal was
well,
cracked,
last.
though. That goal was
Yes,
cracked.
it was. But well, last one, let's see how man hit a Nini and take to celebrate now.
Thoughts,
You know,
Cantwell.
Barry? Plus, I say, you know, how long we see somebody plus all of that. But yeah, boy, I can't lie, the Crystal Palace still looking good. And in fact, before we came on, the kid was talking about how United going and throw around their weight as the red cartel and was going and poach Mateta from them. So it could look like it go from Batos as well as Ishmael Sarr is being sought after from Galatasaray. So I mean, somebody had Crystal Palace going down. Actually, 2 people, I think Virgil and Yuan.
Yeah.
So it might look like those things might come true. But yeah, overall a really good performance from Everton. Armstrong also had a fairly good game, man. So I feel
He
I'm gonna
was
put Armstrong
excellent.
forward. Nice. I'm being real. I have no idea how this lineup was looking like. I think we had like 3 cams, 2 CMs, a striker and a left wing, but we can figure it out afterwards. Next up, we had Forest versus Leeds, and I think this game did not go as straightforward as some people thought. I mean, Stachka had a really want to go into it, right? I mean, the man's called blasted free kick for crying out loud. But I think people thought Forest was going to be a lot easier. I thought a lot of us was high on Leeds going into it, right? But I think Leeds really had to earn their 3 points here. Anybody have anything they want to say on this one at all? No? Alright, cool. And then lastly, is this the last one? Yeah, this is the last one. Well, I gotta take a keeper from, but then I can't take a keeper from this. I don't put the keeper because the keeper got a goal and us and force the own goal. But I guess we could just talk about this real quickly. Is that it's not looking good, bro. It's really not looking good for Villa this start. And I mean, like we always ask this question: why did that team get stripped apart, right? I mean, Tielemans gone, Rogers is gone, Konsa is gone, Watkins might be going. Somebody has big left that I keep forgetting. Digne also gone. But they lost a lot. Onana is injured. The replacement, who I thought was injured to start the season, got a red
And
card.
Martinez going to?
Martinez might be going as well. So it's a lot of upheaval here now, boy, and I'm not really sure what to expect. But big up Brighton, right? No, absolutely sensational. Like they completely took them to the cleaners. And big up the Kuiper. The Kuiper had a goal and assist. Well, assist. He forced the own goal in the early stages of the game. So, yeah.
Did you all see? Did you all see who is linked to Villa? This like happened like oh, did you all see? who
Yep.
linked to Villa?
Leao?
Tell us Navich.
Yeah, Rafael. Which and I feel like that's a big question. No, everybody been wondering through this entire window.
Bro,
Milan
this one is
he want
rumored
to
to
leave,
move for 30
and
million and nobody biting in it.
and
That's
nobody want that
insane, innit?
man.
I see Jonathan David Chris again.
But yeah, all right, guys. So next week we would have we would have the transfer window closing after the next game week as well. So subsequent to that, we will do our top 50 signing tier list again, so you can look out for that as well. Yeah, last year we do top 50. Yeah, like we had ranked the top 50 transfers and put them in categories. Like that was real fun. We'll do that again. And I mean,
Have
this is the
good
most.
transfers.
I don't think so. So we'll see how much actually end up in the top tiers again. So yeah. Alright guys, I think we can wrap it up there. I hope everybody here does not get the transfers they want except me. And we'll close it out there. Catch you guys next time. See you soon. Take it easy.